Hi there. Today I'm going to be talking about heroin addiction in the United States. And I chose heroin because I feel that the opioid crisis in the United States is a pretty substantial crisis. And I feel that many of us know what heroin is. So I thought it'd be interesting to take a deeper dive into heroin and what it is and how it became what it is today. And so, which leads us to the background of heroin. Heroin was created through the acetylation of morphine. And what acetylation is it is adding another compound to morphine. And it was first commercially sold in 1898 by the Bayer Company and was mainly used by doctors for respiratory diseases. And they found this to be very effective and saw a lot of people become well from their respiratory diseases. But as time went on and dosages increased, they started to notice that patients' tolerances were increasing. And with that, they started to notice that their dependency of the drug to increase. They saw people go through withdrawals while they weren't on the drug. And they started to notice people starting to feel pain while they weren't on the drug, even though they should not have been feeling pain. And because of that, the drug quickly became illegal in 1920 through the Anti-Heroin Act, and by 1924, every state in the United States was done with heroin as a practice. But because of this, heroin quickly entered the underground market, which led to its blow up and its easy access to addicts. And by the 1970s, we started to see a tenfold in the amount of heroin that was being picked up across. This leads to the demographic of heroin. These two charts here, the one on the left, I have the demographics. It gives the sex, the age, the race, the annual household income, and if they have health insurance or not. And then on the chart on the right, the blue one, it shows the past year heroin abuse or dependency of people on heroin. And then the black line is the amount of heroin related deaths. And so first I wanted to take a look on the one on the left, the chart, and I wanted to take a look at all the numbers. And as you can see that males are the highest demographic when it comes to heroin addicts. You can see that it made a jump from 2004 to 2013 by 50%. And you can see for the females that it jumped 100% from 0.8 to 1.6 people per 1,000. And it's really not that big of a jump when you're thinking about it. It's really one or two more people per year, which compared to a lot of other drugs is very small. But then again, when it comes to heroin, not as many people take heroin as it is a very, very hard drug. And the next thing I wanted to look at was the age of the demographic. As you can see that 18 to 25 years old is the main age for this drug, as it took 109% increase from 2004 to 2013. And I thought one thing that was super, super interesting, which relates to the blue graph on the right, is the 26 or older group compared to the 18 to 25 year group. And you could see how there's just a drastic change in those numbers from 7.3 to 1.9 is a massive, massive drop. And I contribute these numbers to be dropping from the deaths that are related to heroin. And since that these 18 to 25-year-olds are the main addicts of heroin, they're going to be the main deaths too. And I believe that is why those numbers are so drastic. And going to the race and ethnicity, you can see that it is mainly white individuals that are using heroin. And it is usually people that are making less than 20,000 a year. And I feel like that you can see this as a society as many of the heroin addicts are on the streets. And then looking at the graph on the right, it is just showing that there has been an increase in heroin related deaths as the opioid crisis has gotten worse and worse as of 2013. But as that trend has continued, it has continued to go down. As we look at the historical and current trends of heroin consumption, when it was first released, it was very, very used around the country. As I said earlier, it was mainly used by doctors in the professional field to treat respiratory diseases. And as I said earlier, it was very effective. But once regulations were implemented, the usage of it went down. But that was until the underground market came about and really took over the scene in heroin, which leads to present day, where surprisingly we are seeing decreases in deaths from 2016. This chart on the right, yellow is heroin, and you could see, I'm gonna bring my cursor over. You could see in 2016 we kind of hit this peak right here, and as the years went on, you can kind of see it keep going and going down. As 2018, it kind of hits that little ridge right here and just starts to go down into 2020. So this could be through a lot of things. The media portrays heroin as a very bad drug and the opioid crisis to be a very bad thing that is happening in the United States right now. And it's very interesting to see how the media goes about with what is going on in the country when it's relating to heroin and the opioids. As you can see in the first article on the right, it says conservative Indiana adopted needle exchanges but still faces local resistance. And these needle exchanges are giving out clean needles for people who are addicts or people who are in need of clean needles so that they aren't getting sick or infected through them. And in it, there are a lot of articles that are portraying this to be a good thing, but then there's also other articles that are talking about how deadly the drug is. As you can see in the bottom right, it says deadliest drugs in America in 2017, and number 2 is heroin, right behind fentanyl. It's very interesting that they are glorifying this, but also at the same time noticing that it is one of the most deadly drugs in America. So the media's portrayal of it is a little different from what I was expecting. And this leads to the treatment and prevention. I live in California, so I looked at what they would do for people of opioid or heroin addictions. And what it said is that they would give you a 7-day detox treatment, which I thought was a little short. I know people that have gone through the detox treatment longer than 7 days. So it didn't say if the detox treatment would be extended past 7 days or if it would just be cut off at 7 days. And then after this detox treatment, there will be, you either can have a 30, 60, or 90-day residential treatment where there will be counseling, opioid replacement therapy, gradual discontinuation of opioids in these areas with this treatment. And there's many other treatments too, but the two I wanted to point out were the opioid replacement therapy and the gradual discontinuation of opioids. The two problems with these treatments is, one, the opioid replacement therapy can get addicts hooked on another drug. This can be seen through heroin addicts being addicted to the replacement drugs after their rehab is done. And then the gradual discontinuation of opioids, with the withdrawals that people go through and how strong their addiction can be, the gradual discontinuation of opioids could take much longer than these 30, 60, or 90-day treatments. And then on the right, I have it's a pamphlet, it's a little pamphlet that is talking about addiction to opioids and the signs of addiction. And the government is working on stopping the opioid crisis. There are many agencies that are involved in working on it. Some of these agencies are the FDA, DHSS, and the House of Education. Now, they all work in different ways. The FDA is more of the hands-on, busting down the opioid smugglers. The DHSS is allowing people to get treatment and helping people find treatment, where the House of Education is educating people on the opioid crisis and waking communities and people up that it is bigger than what they think, and it is in their neighborhoods today. And there are also being laws being put in place, and these laws allow for insurance to help for addiction treatments through addicts or for addicts. And this can be seen through the Affordable Care Act and the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act. And these allow people to find the help that they need and help pay for the help that they need. And with that, that is it. Here are some of the references to my research. I hope you have a good break and a good second semester. Thank you.